India is a vast country with enormous number of youth population, and this youth population is eager to get a job. Because of COVID-19 pandemic, the government job market was froze. The government was not recruiting anyone in any sector, especially army, railway and the other service sectors. Unemployment rate was high, but recently data from Indian Labour Organization shows decline in unemployment. But that declination rate was not enough. That is why Narendra Modi government decided to recruit 10 lakh youth in various government sectors. Among those sectors, Indian Armed Forces is one of them. And to recruit fresh army personnel, Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh announced Agneepath Scheme. Agneepath Scheme is basically erstwhile Tour of Duty scheme. It has been renamed with some significant changes. Under this scheme, recruitment will be undertaken for 4 years period. The candidates who will be selected under Agneepath Scheme will be addressed as Agniveers. Enrollment will be based on all India all class basis, and the eligible age will be ranged from 17.5 to 21 years. After 4 years of service, they will be allowed to work as volunteers. Apart from that, 25% Agniveers will be given re-recruitment opportunities. These Agniveers could be recruited of any of the 3 services of Indian Armed Forces: Indian Army, Indian Navy or Indian Air Force. Through this recruitment process, nearly 50,000 people will be selected, and the recruitment will go up by 5,000 every year. The Agneepath scheme is being planned and implemented by the Defence Department of India. Of 4 years of Agniveer service, 6 months has been included as a basic training program and 3.5 years of full service. The selected candidates will also be entitled to medals, awards and insurance coverage like the regular cadres of soldiers, airmen and sailors. Their monthly allowances will be between 30,000 to 40,000 rupees. Now the question is, as we are seeing, Agniveers are not in permanent service. So if they die in the line of duty, then what will happen to them? If any Agniveers dies in the service of the country, then his family members will get an amount of more than 1 crore rupees, including service fund along with interest. Apart from this, the salary of the remaining job will also be given. At the same time, if Agniveer becomes disabled, then he will going to get an amount of up to 44 lakhs. Also in the same way, he will going to get his remaining salary. The scheme is well thought about by Indian Armed Forces Services Head and Indian government's bureaucratic wing. But every scheme has its own pros and cons, and this scheme too have its own pros and cons. Now we will going to talk about the pros. First, the scheme will provide unique opportunity to the youth to serve the country and contribute in nation building. Second, after implementation of this scheme, there would be a youthful profile in the forces, with majority being youthful soldiers and the need of the hour. At this moment, the average age of soldiers comes between 30 to 34 years, but after this scheme, it will come down to 25 to 29 years. Third one is, after their skillful and well-qualified Agniveer career, they will get adequate re-employment opportunities like in CAPF, CRPF and other forces. Also, when Agniveers will return to the society, then they will emerge as a role model for the other youths. And the last one but not the least one is, the Agneepath scheme will ensure availability of the well-disciplined and skilled youth with military ethos and civil society. But this scheme has several cons, and because of having those cons, we are seeing the protest in Bihar against the implementation of this scheme. Apart from that, military veterans have also raised objection against this scheme. The Navy, Air Force and some Army Corps possesses largely technical manpower. Training for them cannot be conducted in 6 months. Most knowledge is gained by on-job training. Many would be just understanding their role and task before they are compelled to seek other avenues. This implies that these organizations would be expending large amount of their budgets only in training or be forced to accept poor output which could be critical and lead to various kinds of accidents. The maximum disadvantage would be borne by the individual recruited. Suppose a youth from a rural background witness a lifestyle vastly different from what he have lived. His beliefs, his desires and the perceptions would be changed multifold in those 4 years. He would have led to live the regimented life, protected from the evils of the society. They will be witnessed comforts even in the harshest of climate and terrains. After 4 years of service, he will be dumped back to the evil society. He will be left alone with a few bucks. His dream come crashing down as he is compelled to restart his own life from the scratch. Now the question is, how long this youth would be able to survive on the received funds and the memories of his army life. Don't you think we will have the more psychological disturbed youth because of this army crash course? And because of that, many army veterans such as Lieutenant General K.J. Singh and Joyshankar Menon, Major General V.K. Madok and Raj Mehta have argued against Agneepath Scheme. According to them, this scheme will compromise national security of the country. An idea of shortening the training spell indirectly trivializes the skill set for which the armed forces train their cadre so diligently. As these youths will have the lesser training for the tank operations and the missile operation, then they will going to create the problems for the armed forces. If anything will be fired miscalculatively. I have already discussed the cons, and these veterans have been mentioning those cons again and again in every platform. And because of those cons, the youth, especially from Bihar, protesting against this scheme. Indian armed forces are one of the best trained forces of the world. So Indian government cannot compromise armed forces skill set only to cut budget and reduce the pension. We India need the super trained personnel because India constantly facing two front war from Pakistan and China, and both of them having nuclear weapons. It is good that the government intentions is positive to reduce the average age of the army, but not at the cost of the skill and the training. So things will going to change if the scheme will going to get implemented. If that scheme will not going to get implemented, then the no result will come out. At least we have to give the government a chance whether the results will come out. Then we can force the government to stop that scheme. Now the questions. The first question is, which country has announced to develop the wayfinding application for the United Nations buildings? The first option is USA, second option is Russia, third option is India, fourth option is United Arab Emirates. The second question is, as per the recent notification, the 5G spectrum will be auctioned for how many years? The first option is 5 years, second option is 10 years, third option is 20 years, fourth option is 25 years. So this is the end of the topic. If you have any questions or any queries about this topic or any other topic or any other queries, then you can contact me through my email address, which is tuhin.power.academy@gmail.com. If you found my topic informative, then please subscribe my channel.